Hi again, everyone. We're back with your Hurricane Tracker video update for September the 11th of 2010. Well, looking at the Atlantic, a little bit has changed since yesterday. We still have Tropical Storm Igor, which is on the verge of hurricane status. We have our disturbance in the Caribbean Sea, which has better chances of developing now. If you remember yesterday, the disturbance was in the medium category. Today, there's a 60% chance that it will become a depression within the next 48 hours. And we have a new system that has just come off Africa. It's a very, very vigorous tropical disturbance. And right now, the Hurricane Center is giving that a medium chance, about 30 to 40% chance at development within the next 48 hours. So we'll take a look at each three of these systems, give you the latest information. And let's start with Igor. Currently, as of the 11 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time advisory here on Saturday the 11th, sustained winds at 70 miles an hour. And if you remember, to be classified as a hurricane, the threshold is 74 miles an hour. So he is approaching that very quickly. Still moving to the west at 20 miles an hour. And by this evening, Igor should be upgraded to a hurricane. And sometime on late Monday, early Tuesday, Igor is expected to reach Category 3 status and begin a west-northwesterly turn across the Atlantic. That should spare the Leeward Islands and Puerto Rico any bad conditions as long as that turn happens sooner rather than later. So we'll keep a close eye early next week to see when that turn does take effect. Computer models. The difference today is just about all of the computer models are now showing more of a west-northwesterly turn towards the end of the forecast cycle here. A couple of the models want to bring it up towards Bermuda, and two or three of the models don't show as sharp of a northwest turn, but definitely show a more west-northwesterly track versus a westerly course. So we'll see what happens with the track of Igor over the next few days. The latest visible satellite imagery for Tropical Storm Igor, you can see a very well-defined center with some very powerful convection near the center, and it's looking more and more like a hurricane, on this satellite presentation. This is an interesting map I wanted to show you guys today. It shows kind of in the past what other storms have done that are located within 2 degrees of where Igor is currently located. If you look at the trend, 99% of these storms curved back out into the Atlantic. There was really only two or three that made landfall on the U.S. coast. There was one of these storms went across the Caribbean into the Gulf, hit Texas, and a couple brushed northern New England here. So there's about a 10% chance that Tropical Storm Igor will end up affecting the United States. But again, that's way too far in the future to tell for sure. So we'll just need to keep checking it day by day. Our next system is the area of disturbed weather in the Caribbean. Looking at the latest infrared satellite imagery, it looks a lot better today than it did yesterday. And if you remember yesterday, I was anticipating that it would start looking more like a storm today. And it has taken on the look, but it's still very slowly organizing. There's not really a well-defined low-level center yet. And the computer models still want to pull this west-northwesterly across the Caribbean, possibly into the southern Gulf of Mexico. So in my opinion, out of all three systems, this is the one that's most important right now. It's the one that's closest to home, has the greatest chance of affecting the Gulf Coast and the Caribbean islands. So we'll pay very close attention to this storm as it develops. But again, I do anticipate by tomorrow night or Monday evening at the latest, this storm should be upgraded to a tropical depression. And at that time, we'll know a lot better as to where it's going to be headed. Our third system is a tropical wave that just came off of Africa. And you can see, it just barely came off Africa, and it's already looking very well organized. Good news here so far. The most recent computer model runs want to just take this northwest into the central to eastern Atlantic and not get very far west in longitude. So that would be a good thing. But again, we'll watch this one and see what this storm decides to do. I did want to show you the satellite loops of these three systems before we let you go today. Give them a second to load up here. Here's Tropical Storm Igor. And if you notice the difference between early this morning and currently, there's a lot more reds and oranges located near the center, indicating the storm is strengthening. Hence the hurricane status, which should be it should be taking on by this evening. Once we get the evening update from the Hurricane Center, I give it about an 80% chance of being upgraded. Here's the system in the Caribbean. Lots of precipitation, there's not a lot of spin to it, maybe just very little bit. It's definitely expanding as far as the cloud cover, but it just hasn't really taken on the rotation that we'd like to see before it could be upgraded. And here's a couple of frames from the wave that just came off the African coast. Right as it came off, it looked very good, had a lot of deep convection. And once it hit the water, it kind of just lost a lot of its deep convection. But nevertheless, conditions are favorable for some strengthening over the next couple of days. It is moving to the west at 21 miles an hour. So we'll keep an eye on it, see if it follows Igor's course or turns further north into the Atlantic here in the next few days. And once again, everybody, thanks for being a Hurricane Tracker customer. Hope you find these video updates useful. It does take a little bit of time to get everything together and see what the storms are doing to make sure we give you the most accurate information. Please leave an update. Excuse me. Please leave a review on iTunes if you have a few free moments, just to let us know what you think of these updates in the app overall. We really appreciate your feedback, and if there's something you don't like, let us know. We'll try to make it better for next year's version. And thanks again for being a Hurricane Tracker customer, everyone, and we will talk to you soon. And enjoy the rest of your weekend.